Welcome to the King Pair podcast, episode number something. We've lost count at this point.
I think we've done so much, and you've done so little that
He has no comeback. There is no logical conclusion to that lie.
except that आपको like, share और subscribe.
और बेल आइकन पे दबाना ना भूलिएगा.
हाँ, ये वैसे ना क्योंकि हम वीडियो रिलीज करते हैं, हमने कल परसों भी आई थिंक गलती से वीडियो रिलीज कर दी आउट ऑफ लाइक द स्केड्यूल.
हाँ.
और किसी को पता ही नहीं चला.
लेकिन 4 लोगों ने दबाया हुआ था.
उसमें से एक
4 व्यूज थे. चलो 3 लोगों ने दबाया हुआ था.
तो
उसमें से एक मैं था. 2 लोगों ने दबाया हुआ था.
तो हाँ, 2 लोगों ने दबाया था. और मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि 2 लोगों से ज़्यादा को बेल आइकन क्लिक कर देना चाहिए बिकॉज मतलब और किस तरह से आपको पता चलेगा.
Yeah.
Make life easy for yourselves.
Yes, I think optimization is key. Yeah.
Not ideas.
We're going to talk about something very interesting today that happened in the world of cricket, and the moment it happened we sort of knew that it would be a huge thing, and so did the commentators and everyone who was witnessing it, and sort of the cascading effects of that one action sort of are still ongoing, and you can feel the ripples go through the cricketing fraternity. And we're talking about
an introduction to an academic paper.
in this paper I will aim to. यार दीप्ति शर्मा है उनका नाम. इंडिया की क्रिकेटर हैं और she was bowling, and the non-striker who was Charlie Dean was out of her crease by quite a bit, and so Deepti Sharma, according to the rules of cricket, was in her stride. I mean, that's debatable, but I mean, it was for her, she was in her stride, and then she ran the non-striker out. और for those who don't watch cricket regularly, इस rule को mankaded कहते हैं. और
I mean, it's a run out now.
It's now a run out, yes.
Yeah, it's not unfair.
तो अरम थोड़ी सी रोशनी डालें कि पहले let's talk about the conversations happening around it, and maybe then we can go into the technicalities and our opinions of it. But I want to hear what different people have said about this
सबसे पहले I think
mankaded.
let's historically also
Mankaded.
क्यों इसका नाम रखा है, like
Okay.
what? That is actually the name of an Indian player,
Vinu Mankaded. Yes.
And उसने मुझे नहीं पता किस साल में, लेकिन उसने ऑस्ट्रेलिया के खिलाफ एक मैच में बिल ब्राउन,
अच्छा.
एक बहुत बड़ा बैटर था उस टाइम का, playing under the leadership of Tom Bradman's Negro ground, and he ran him out.
Yeah.
And the Australian media kind of came up with this term, or coined the term of
Mankaded.
mankading.
Yeah.
or mankading,
और
or-
उस दिन से ही मेरा ख्याल है, if I'm not wrong, ICC के unfair play वाले section के अंडर ये लॉ था कि this is fair play, although it might look like unfair play or might look out of the convention. और इस इवेंट के बाद 1 अक्टूबर जो कि अब गुजर चुकी है, मेरा ख्याल है कर दिया होगा, ICC is moving that law, I think it's law 48 or something, to the run out section.
Yeah, it's a run out.
To trying
Now
to
it's a run out.
now it's a run out. Now it's not a separate thing than a
Yeah.
mankaded, right? It's just a
Yeah.
run out.
And इसमें एक I think it was quite insulting to begin with, why like they decided to stick with mankaded as
An unfair
as a name
play
of dismissal.
On this exotic weird thing that the brown man has
brown
done.
man has done in
Yeah.
the shores of the white.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you want to call them.
People.
Australians, I don't know. They're kind of
A separate.
species of.
According to according to Shoaib Akhtar.
They're like a religion
For him.
for him. So this was the first time it happened in international cricket, but it wasn't the first time it happened in
Ever.
cricket. Yeah.
Okay.
There was an English bowler, something Barker, I think. Was
Okay.
Who did it about 5 times before.
Wow.
First class cricket. But yeah, I think here I want to. I mean, there were a lot of opinions, of course. Some say कि हाँ, I mean, 3 basic opinion बनते हैं on this spectrum.
Yes.
Which is कि ये बिल्कुल गलत है, and ICC should or MCC should do something about it. दूसरा ये है कि बिल्कुल ठीक है उसके पूरा हक बनता था और बैटर निकला हुआ था क्रीज में करना चाहिए उसे. और तीसरा ये था कि हाँ फेयर है लेकिन not in the spirit of the game.
Spirit of cricket.
Let's talk about the spirit of cricket. Where is the spirit?
I think yes, that is an ontological question here. Okay, what is the spirit of cricket?
Absolutely.
And a lot of what is the spirit of cricket is whitewashed. The spirit of cricket is what has been happening in the counties of England, and for the past 200-300 years.
Yeah.
And if that spirit is somewhat so rigid in its makeover, okay, it's just white and it's just the quote unquote tradition of a certain small island, then one can really question if that applies to a universal game like cricket that it is now. उसके ऊपर बेन स्टोक्स ने इंग्लिश जितने भी प्लेयर्स हैं उन्होंने हमें डिसअपॉइंट ही किया.
बिल्कुल. मतलब ये जब इंसिडेंट हुआ था और मैंने ऐसे देखे थे, मैं तो पढ़ के ही मैंने बेन स्टोक्स कहा था इस तरह की बात
करेगा.
नहीं, मैंने पढ़ के बेन स्टोक्स बोला.
ओह ओके.
तो I mean that was the level of disappointment I had.
हाँ.
People like
Yeah.
James Anderson, Sam Billings.
Yes.
Ben Stokes himself.
Yes. हाँ, क्योंकि बेन स्टोक्स स्टार्टेड कंपेयरिंग दिस टू हिज जो उसके बैट से लग के चौका हो गया था वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल में 2019 में, एंड ही सॉर्ट ऑफ वेंट लाइक पब्लिक विद अ रो had a public row with हर्षा भोगले, एंड उसने कहा हर्षा को कि हर्षा क्या मतलब है, दिस इज नॉट विद इन द स्पिरिट ऑफ द गेम, मेरे वाले बल्ले पे लग के चौका लग गया था तो लोग अभी तक मुझे गालियाँ देते हैं, तो what does this mean? So I think Harsha's response was very nice. He was like, let's talk about it over a cup of tea or something. And as far as your incident was concerned, I still stand by you. What is within the laws of the game is within the laws of the game.
Yeah.
I think Nasir Hussain was commentating at that moment when it happened, and he did say that this is within the laws of the game. Now, the second sort of point of view is not only that this is not in the spirit of the game, that is that it has broken the law of the game, which is that Deepti was not in her stride. And that is something that someone like James Anderson is at least on the face of it contesting, कि अगर एक बॉलर अपनी स्ट्राइड पे होता है तो वो बैट्समैन की तरफ देख रहा होता है, वो विकेट की तरफ देख रहा होता है, वो नॉन स्ट्राइकर की तरफ नहीं देख रहा होता, शिट लाइक दैट. What are your thoughts on it?
ठीक है, आई थिंक ऑफ कोर्स इट वाज प्रीमेडिटेटेड, एंड इस तरह के डिसमिसल्स अक्सर प्रीमेडिटेट करने होते हैं. इट्स नॉट इजी एज अ बॉलर कि आप स्ट्राइड के दौरान ये भी ध्यान रखो कि उसका पैर किधर है और अपनी बॉलिंग पे भी फोकस करो. इट्स
हाँ, देखे बगैर तो आप नहीं मार सकते ना विकेट को
नेचुरली. तो डेफिनेटली मुझे भी लग रहा है प्रीमेडिटेटेड ही था और अक्सर होते हैं, लेकिन जिस तरह से किसी ने पॉइंट आउट भी किया था कि this was not the first time Dean was leaving her crease early.
She had left it 51 or 52 times during the entire game. Someone counted it apparently.
Well, there you go. So that's let's say a potential of at least 5, 6, 7 runs they got additional from that.
Yes.
तो फिर सवाल उठता है कि आपकी लाइन ऑफ क्वेश्चनिंग ही क्या है. बड़ा अच्छा एक क्रिकेट पे किसी ने आर्टिकल लिखा था where they brought in of course the power, the conversation of power and the F word which you can talk about later. Foucault. इसमें पावर का डेफिनेटली पावर प्ले है, and of course we don't have like power and risk out here batting in the power play. We have like it's like a Joss Butler, Hales kind of situation.
Yes.
So yeah, it's going to be very intense. But the power here is of course whose gaze, a sight or gaze, GAZE, are you looking from? And of course this is England, which is of course they've never played unfair cricket. I think most white nations can say that very proudly.
Yes. Fair and square.
It's always
all of their history is like a clean chit.
Everything, borderline series was fine.
इसमें अच्छा एक और चीज़ है, अगर हम सिर्फ रेस और पावर की बात ना भी करें, विच इज़ मोर देन लेजिटिमेट सॉर्ट ऑफ वे टू सी इट, और वो तो डिबेट ही ख़त्म कर देते हैं ना. लाइक इवन इफ वी सॉर्ट ऑफ debate this on the grounds of the argument and not who is presenting it, right? Like let's say कि चलो हम कहते हैं कि गोरों ने कुछ नहीं किया, वो भी बराबर हैं, इंडियंस भी बराबर हैं, right? Like the best utopian world of cricket exists. उसमें भी the law says that the ball needs to be in active play for a run out, right? And active play is defined as soon as the bowler starts to run and is in their stride, right? क्योंकि उस वक्त अगर कोई फील्डर बाहर है या अंदर है, जो भी सिचुएशन है, right, that cannot be changed, right? Now that is when play has started and the ball is not dead, it's active. And if it's active तो उसका मतलब है कि whatever the laws of the game are, they have come from suspension to non-suspension, ठीक है, in effect है अब. तो उसमें फिर ये मैटर नहीं करता कि if Deepti is looking at the bowler या नहीं, the nature of the stride does not matter, ठीक है. Premeditation also does not matter.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
batter also premeditated.
The batters premeditate all the time, right?
Dean probably
premeditated moving there. Yeah. Batsmen shift their stance to play a ram shot or whatever, right? We know how it is. So all of this again is fair and square, and मसला ये है कि बस गोरों के खिलाफ हो गया और कोई ना कोई इंडियन हमेशा कर देता है, whether it's Vinu Mankad or Ashwin or Deepti Sharma, and that's their biggest problem, that a white man sort of
and I
does
kind
this.
Of pushing the boundaries here because they're also realizing
why not?
Who owns cricket now?
Yeah.
It's the Asian you can say Asian century coming up, and they know they can kind of push the boundaries with this.
Yes.
By the way, the match in which Vinu Mankad did the act,
yes,
I think it was their first match after partition.
Acha. Okay.
So
wow.
That was I think a special way.
He laid the foundation for what is to come.
So Ashwin and Deepti Sharma are kind of continuing the tradition, and finally I think it's very good, especially because the son of Vinu Mankad, Rahul Mankad,
Acha, he's alive?
Protested against this form of dismissal being named
mankading.
So that is what kind of prompted the changes.
Acha. That makes sense. I think.
But at the ethics of it, the batter is getting an advantage. I think even in this situation, it was what they needed 16 runs.
And the smallest of margins, as someone great once said, in a great final match matters, right? And I think अगर non-striker advantage ले सकता है, तो why can't the bowler, right?
That's too harsh of a punishment because let's talk about the line itself.
Yes.
The popping crease. Bowler उसको overstep करता है तो no ball होती है free hit, which is as a bowler that's the worst thing that can happen to you.
Exactly.
As a batter, the worst thing perhaps is a dismissal, but batting is a different game.
Yes.
Bowling में आपको मौका मिल जाएगा दोबारा से अगली बॉल पे कुछ करने का. Batting में that's just the end of you.
Someone had
I
written.
think perhaps we could. I mean, there's so much discussion and so much hate about the outcome, which is the batsman getting out. So why not change the penalty? Someone did suggest a 5-run penalty for.
Interesting. किसी ने लिखा हुआ था, मुझे नहीं पता, I don't remember who the cricketer was, but they wrote that कौन था यार जो इंग्लैंड का ही था, who was supporting Deepti. I keep forgetting. I think he wrote that if the bowler is obligated to stay within the crease, so is the non-striker, or so is the batter, right? अगर stump हो सकता है, right? Like let's not talk about a complete run out जहाँ पे ball active play में, लेकिन अगर stump हो सकता है, right? तो non-striker की तरफ ही क्यों नहीं हो सकता? अगर वो वाला run out हो सकता है कि bowler का हाथ लग गया और वो पीछे जाके विकेट को लग गया and the non-striker is out of their crease, if that can happen, then why can't a quote-unquote mankad? Right? Like there is no logical consistency to the argument, even the penalty wali argument. Like I think it's fair enough to get, because it's a run out, right? Like it's logically consistent with the way things are. Ab catch आप किसी भी तरह ले लो, right? As long as you are doing it within the given conditions, which is कि वो ज़मीन पे ना लगे, that's fine, right? Like
we've seen catches go off like the non-striker onto into the
बैट से लग के चले जाते हैं, लोग बाउंड्री के उधर से फेंक के अंदर आ जाते हैं, राइट? लाइक ऑल डिफरेंट वेरिएशंस ऑफ कैचेस. बोल्ड हो सकते हो किसी भी तरह. हिट विकेट इज ऑल्सो द सेम एज गेटिंग बोल्ड इन अ सर्टन सेंस ऑफ द वर्ड, कि you've knocked your stumps off, the batsman has not been able to keep their stumps, right? Keep their stumps
even
safe.
The bowler, if they're not able to keep their side of, like if they hit the stumps in their run up, it's a no ball.
It's a no ball, right? So like everything sort of falls into place, and I don't see why this is a big issue other than what you have said, कि एक गोरों के साथ ये हो गया, and just because emotions are high, just because their emotions are high and they are in a position of power, they can make this a controversy.
It matters who it's happening. Mankading, let's not call it that, but run out ना कोई ये मतलब this, there have been many run outs before. I think one of the most controversial ones was perhaps there was an under 19 game, I think Zimbabwe or किसी का semi-final था, and the other team needed like 3 runs to win. Last wicket, fast bowler just came up and premeditated, of course, but they won that, and of course had to go through a lot of shit because of it. But I mean, I don't get it. England players have done it in the past. In fact, it was an England player who did it for the first time in any form of cricket. So I think ये उनको भी acknowledge करना पड़ेगा कि there is an element of course power about who it's happening to, who's being run out, which team, which player. But another argument जो आई है वो ये है कि it's effortless, like not in a good way.
You don't have to work for it?
Yeah, basically.
I mean there's so many situations in cricket where you get a wicket and you don't have to work for it. Right? Like bowl हो सकते, hit wicket. Right? Like the bowler has to do nothing for it. An easy catch, I don't know, वो जो हाथ से लग के पीछे लग जाती है, रन आउट हो जाता है non-striker को, like all sorts of stuff. I don't think effort matters in terms of emotionally or socially understanding the game, but that might not change the objective result of the game, right? Like ये नहीं हो सकता कि एक साइड बुरा फील कर रही है, उन्होंने बहुत मेहनत की है, तो the laws of the game are tilted towards the side that puts more effort, right? The reason for that is that although I'm against objectivity in that sense, but for a game to be played within a closed system, you need to have some objective rules, and they can be changed based on how the game evolves, but they cannot be molded to the emotions or the needs of a side that wants to win, because then it's unfair to the emotions and the needs of the other side, right? So they're there to balance out the biases. So I mean, effort should not matter when it comes to law of the game. It should matter when it comes to analyzing a game, when it comes to talking about how well or badly a team has played, but not in terms of saying कि नहीं ये bold नहीं होना चाहिए था क्योंकि तेंदुलकर 99 पे था, right?
Naturally.
Yes.
I want to end this with just a final few words on of course power, because अब हम देख रहे हैं India is kind of, we say Asia but we really mean India is taking over the cricket. इसमें एक conversation फिर बहुत important हो जाती है, because अभी recently ACC की वो meetings भी हुई हैं boards के साथ, and who gets to make what call, we don't know, the future towards program and all that, things which are very obscure abhi. But one really important thing is the direction kind of cricket is going in. Of course that's an entirely other podcast, but I was reading this very interesting thing about how the West Indies cricket board out of all put forward like a plan of how ICC is supposed to distribute funds. So abhi the way they do it is the one that makes them the most money gets the most cut. Which is
Yeah.
basically India getting the most money.
Yes.
As opposed to, the FIFA kind of model, which is that everybody gets the same.
Yeah.
And that's how cricket flourishes around
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
And एक तरह से आप कह सकते हो कि थोड़ी equal footing बन सकती
Yeah.
है. Pakistan at this point gets just as much as New Zealand does,
Yeah.
for example.
And I think then the
And
last,
that was rejected just by the way.
of course.
Um,
And I think the last question and sort of that comes out of it is is man-kidding in the spirit of cricket, but whether ICC's distribution of funds is not a form of man-kidding itself.